What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 6 Team Builder, taking on Gareth and the Hamilton Torracats here in NCL Season 9 as a striker. Okay, we came off of a pretty tight win against Johan. I was pretty impressed with myself and how I played that one, but now we're getting to the point where we can start looking towards playoffs. So before I talk about Gareth's team, I just want to briefly touch on playoffs, as this game is the halfway point of the season, right? In previous seasons, the last 3 seasons actually, we've gone 6-6. My goal is to not go 6-6, ideally not going 5-7 either, or 4-8. I would like to at least go 7-5, but at this point, I think I want to make my goals larger than that. I would like to have my most dominant season since Season 5. That is something that's weighing on my mind, and unfortunately, the prep that I put in this week probably won't reflect that, but I'm hoping that my play can sort of tone that a little bit more up. I'm in a position here where I can go 11-1, and that's going to be my goal. My goal is to win every single game. I'm not focused on rematches in playoffs or any of that other garbage. My focus is to win. So, for once, that's going to be what we're going to aim for in a season. For the first time in a long time, I should say. At least in this generation. And since 2019, that is the goal, is to win. So, Gareth's team consists of Rillaboom, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Registeel, Crobat, Golisopod, Spiritomb, Meganiancy, Chandelure, Hippowdon, Regieleki, and Mesprit. His priority options are the Rillaboom with Grassy Glide, Urshifu with Aqua Jet, Golisopod with Aqua Jet, Sucker Punch, and First Impression. Spiritomb with Sucker Punch and Shadow Snake. And I believe that should be it, actually. Hazard setting, he's got the Registeel with Rocks, Golisopod with Spikes, Mega DNC with Rocks, Hippowdon with Rocks, and Mesprit with Rocks. Removal options is just the Crobat with Defog and Regieleki with Rapid Spin, so not the best options, especially given I have a Mimikyu for spin blocking, but the Crobat should be fine if he's really terrified of my hazards, which he probably won't be, because in all likelihood he's going to run like Boots Golisopod anyways. Removal options, he's got the Crobat with Defog, Regieleki with Rapid Spin. I said that already. 4x weakness is just the DNC'd Steel. There we go. There's a lot of Steel resists on this team. Steel coverage is not very effective against quite a few of these Pokemon. Urshifu, Registeel, Golisopod, Chandelure, and Regieleki. It's only good against the DNC. It's neutral against everything else, so Steel coverage is not the best. I am running it on one Mon that can threaten DNC potentially and can like lure it, and that's the strategy here. So in terms of what I'm not really expecting, I think Spiritomb is the only thing I'm not expecting. It doesn't really handle anything here, and I don't think it's a good setup sweeper. I don't think it's a good wall against anything. So it's kind of just there, and that is why I don't think it's going to come. Unless he is bringing something just to be a dedicated Zac. He has more useful Pokemon in every other role on his team, and Spiritomb just doesn't fill that for me. It shouldn't fill that for him this week. So that's what I'm not expecting from him. What I am expecting is everything. You know, I come into this game, I have to imagine Mega DNC's definitely coming. It's got an excellent offensive matchup. It's his kill leader for the season. I have to imagine Rillaboom probably comes because it can handle Slowking. I have to imagine Chandelure comes because it can handle Tangrowth and Slowking combined. Those 3, I think, are absolute guarantees. I think that Hippowdon is likely. It sort of depends on how he wants to handle things. I think Golisopod is likely. I think Crobat is very likely. Urshifu seems very likely, even though it's actually one of the few Mons that's just absolutely stymied by Tangrowth plus Slowking. He'll probably find a way to force it onto the team, even though it's probably not the best thing here. It's certainly a good Mimikyu answer, because Surging Strikes can break Disguise and hit me through that stuff. So if he's really terrified of Mimikyu, he'll bring Urshifu. He probably shouldn't be terrified of Mimikyu. He's got a Registeel, but you know how things go. People tend to get scared of things that they don't need to be. He's also got a Crobat, which just absolutely dicks on Mimikyu. But in terms of what I'm bringing, let's start with the obvious here. I'm bringing Genesect Douse. I've pretty much always brought Genesect. I think Genesects come to every single game. It's very fun to pilot, despite the restrictions. Just the coverage that it gets just makes it such a threat. As soon as you can get it on something that's slower, it just becomes an immediate threat. So I'm running Douse again, because Douse just seems to be the best against every fire type. Like, defensive fires really are the only things that can check Genesect properly. So I have Douse Technoblast for the Chandelure. I don't think it's going to necessarily be the check, but it could be, and Douse Technoblast will obliterate that. It's also neutral against a lot of stuff. It's a good way of avoiding having to run steel coverage for the DNC, which is like avoiding steel coverage, but like I mentioned, steel coverage is bad against this team. Water coverage is good. This also means I don't need to have like Ice Beam or anything for Hippowdon. So Water Technoblast is like a pretty good neutral hit against a lot of stuff here. Flamethrower will hit the Rillaboom and the Registeel, although I've got a better option for Rillaboom. It's mainly there for the Registeel. Just some way to like break the defensive steel. The combo of Flamethrower plus Technoblast will be able to handle Crobat and Regieleki as well. U-turn for momentum, and then I have Bug Buzz to break a hole through Mesprit if I need to. It's my best stab against the Golisopod that I'm bringing, I should say. I could have opted into running Thunderbolt instead of Bug Buzz here, which I might consider. It is just like strong coverage against a lot of stuff, but it can two-shot the Regieleki or Oko it if I get the special attack boost. There's a lot going for Bug Buzz here, and it helps me against subbed attackers as well. So I didn't really see a downside to running Bug Buzz, but in hindsight, I might look at this and be like, oh, Thunderbolt was so much better if I end up losing this game and I could have won with Thunderbolt or something. I'm outspeeding the Urshifu Rapid Strike, so luckily I've been battling a lot of base 97 people. Nacho actually ended up trading his Urshifu Single Strike to Pokefan, who I'm going to play later on in the season, so that's really annoying because I have to play another base 97 and basically essentially repeat my time against Urshifu Single. Anyways, I'm outspeeding Urshifu Rapid, max special attack, a little bit of HP. Tangrowth is fully specially defensively assault vested. I thought it was physical defense for some reason. I should still be able to handle Rillaboom plus Urshifu pretty well with this. I'm running purely physical. Why am I running Sassy if I'm running purely physical moves? I should be careful. With a little bit of speed for the Registeel. So now I'm outspeeding the Registeel. I've got Knockoff, Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is there for the Crobat. Knockoff is there for the Chandelure, although Rock Tomb will also help against that. It's also there for the Mesprit. Just getting rid of items in general is good. Power Whip is a strong neutral hit against a lot of things here. The Crobat, the Chandelure, and the Registeel are really the only mons that don't want to take Power Whip, or sorry, do want to take Power Whip. And then Stomping Tantrum, which is also there for the Registeel, can potentially hit the Chandelure. Like, Chandelure cannot switch into my Tangrowth at all, because I have 3 super effective coverage moves for it. None of them are directly designed for the Chandelure, although the knockoff might be. The Stomping Tantrum is pretty much there for the Registeel, and I'm running Stomping Tantrum because it is not nerfed by Grassy Terrain, which potentially the Rillaboom is coming, right? And that's what it would be there for. So, fully specially defensive, it's my Mega Diancie answer. Mega Diancie shouldn't be able to break it. I should still be able to handle Urshifu and Rillaboom anyways, and it's a good Regieleki Sponge, as well as potential Mesprit Sponge and Hippowdon Sponge. Tangrowth just has a really good matchup here. Cinderace, I'm running Boots Cinderace with Iron Head, U-turn, Court Change, and Power Ball. So, Iron Head, this is the steel coverage I talked about for the Diancie. U-turn to get out on everything else. If I think that the, Chandelure is coming in on me, then so be it. I've got Court Change to get rid of rocks and spikes on my side and put them on his. And then Pyro Ball just for good stab. It does well against a couple things. It helps me break the Registeel. If I can really punch a hole in his defensive core in this game, then I should be able to set myself up well with Garchomp to win. Or Genesect. But probably Garchomp, because it'll outspeed a lot of his faster things, which we will get to. I'm running Jolly with enough speed for Diancie creeping creeping Garchomp. So I decided to play it a little bit more aggressively with the Cinderace here. This might come back to bite me if the Diancie ends up killing me because it's faster. I don't see a point in him running max speed Diancie though, unless he's trying to creep my creep. I haven't really shown that I'm going to aggressively creep until I play opponents who I know creep. And I know I help Gareth build sometimes, so I know that he creeps. And that's why I'm doing it. So we have a bunch of extra HP, which should actually help me live like Brave Birds and such from the Crobat. It should help me a lot against the Rillaboom, which I really don't have the best defensive answers to an SD set. SD Acrobatics Flying Gem would just tear me apart. So that's the Cinderace. Kecleon is coming. It's also specially defensive. This is my Chandelure answer. So Tangrowth, while it is Assault Vest, is primarily there for Urshifu and Rillaboom. If we're speaking, it's a physically defensive mon, just spec into Spidef. But the Kecleon it's Spidef for the Chandelure. So I've Recover, Knock Off, Drain Punch, Ice Punch. It should be fairly effective against everything here. It should hit everything at least neutrally at best, or at worst, I should say. I'm running a little bit of speed on the Kecleon for no speed Hippowdon, which means that I should outspeed Golisopod, Spiritomb, not no speed Registeel though, so Registeel is going to be faster than me. Garchomp, I'm running a Scarf set with Rocks, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Iron Head. I'm running Earthquake in Grassy Terrain because I think I should be in a position where I don't have to click it. Iron Head is there for the DNC if I'm in terrain and I need a way to just like kill it in a revenge kill. Pretty much useless. Excuse me. Rocks are also probably pretty much useless. I don't really see myself clicking them all that much, but they could be useful if I can get them up. Earthquake, like I said, besides the Rillaboom, right? Like it's actually pretty solid. The main things that aren't worried about it, I should say, are Mesprit and Crobat. This switches into Regieleki and punishes it quite well, unless it's going to explode. And yeah, so I'm outspeeding Urshifu with this. I'm not necessarily going to outspeed Regieleki with that at all, but Regieleki doesn't really touch Garchomp without like running stupid normal coverage like Explosion or Hyper Beam. And then Dragon Claw is just for like something to lock into late game when things are chipped. Slowking is last but not least. I'm also running specially defensive Slowking because I think Tangrowth is a good enough answer to the physical attackers besides the Crobat, which can kind of be handled by other things. Scald, Future Sight, Teleport, Flamethrower. I wanted Flamethrower as a way to be able to hit like Registeel and the Rillaboom coming in on me. So fire coverage plus water coverage is pretty solid against this team. The main thing it's not going to hit is like Urshifu super effectively, basically. So Future Sight should be able to like threaten that, or at least Scald burning it will threaten it too. Scald is really hard for his team to switch into actually because all of his water resists are physical attackers, so they really don't want to get burned, which is why I'm running Scald. You'll notice for the first time in a while there's no Toxic on my team because I just don't find it that useful to Toxic pretty much anything here besides maybe the Mesprit. That's and I also don't want it getting Magic bounced back on me. I'm invested a little bit on the Slowking. I thought about just running like pure offensive Slowking with like Trick Room, Life Orb, 3 attacks or something like that, but it's not that efficient, and I still can't like kill Registeel. Like the walls are a little bit too wally for me to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to burn through them fast enough, so we're rocking with this instead. So, in terms of what I'm not bringing, Mimikyu was on the table for a while. I think it's solid here, but Registeel sort of throws me off that a little bit. Mega Gyarados is something that I probably was never going to bring to this one. Grassy Glide is just too much of a problem. And if I bring Mega Gyarados, he just saves Rillaboom in the back, and then Garchomp is completely useless. Or Mega Gyarados comes in Garchomp's slots, and then it gets outsped by all the things. But I need Garchomp, because if Urshifu gets out of hand and it's a Scarf set, then I need to have a way to revenge kill it. So, there's a lot up in the air with Mega Gyarados. Don't think it's great this game. Thundy T, also don't think that it's super fantastic. Like, it's okay, right? Because it's a good Regieleki answer. I didn't necessarily need Garchomp for that. It can kind of punish the Hippo. Like, it does okay against this team, I would say. It's probably not the worst thing in the world. Thundy T is maybe like the 7th Mon that I probably would have brought if I had a 7th Mon in the slot. Hitmonchan, not really good in this matchup. Chandelure punishes it way too much. Same with Mesprit. So, just not that good. It does have Bullet Punch to punish Mega Diancie. Maybe he's on the watch for that. Aggron, another match where it's just like the Steel is way too defensive for it to be able to go in. And like Registeel plus Hippowdon pretty much wall Aggron combined. So there's no reason for me to bring Aggron. It also just loses to all of the offense. So that is about it. So that is going to be for the team builder. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys for the match where we take on Gareth and the Hamilton Torracats.